From the grandeur of palaces whose prices rival the gross domestic product of entire nations, to private skyscrapers where the winter season can be activated at the mere press of a button, the world of luxury and opulence offers a multitude of astonishing examples. Today, you will be introduced to some of the most extraordinary, awe-inspiring architectural marvels, including the Forbidden City, which is valued in the tens of billions of dollars, the mirrored Palace of Versailles that leaves diplomats dazzled and speechless, the resilient imperial Tokyo that survived devastating fires, and private residences where garages capable of housing hundreds of automobiles are considered just a minor detail amidst lavish interiors. These remarkable structures belong to the realm of the ultra-wealthy, the elite whose wealth transcends ordinary comprehension. We begin our journey in Beijing, China, at the very heart of imperial architecture, an emblem of power, history, and cultural grandeur, the Forbidden City. It is a place that for some appears as a sprawling open-air museum, a vast collection of ancient buildings and artifacts preserved for centuries. For others, it seems as if the very sky and earth converge within its walls, creating an almost mystical connection between the celestial and the terrestrial. The estimated value of this complex hovers around $70 billion, making it not only the most expensive palace ever constructed on Earth, but also possibly the most costly single architectural ensemble ever created by human civilization. This formidable figure, of course, sounds almost too incredible to believe at first glance. However, behind this high valuation lies a solid foundation of historical, cultural, and architectural significance. To truly understand why the price tag is so astronomical, we need to turn back the pages of history nearly 6 centuries to a period when the foundations of this legendary site were laid. Between the year 1406 and the 1920s, during the Ming Dynasty, an enormous complex of buildings was carefully designed and constructed at the very center of what would become Beijing. This complex served as the imperial residence and the political hub for 4 successive emperors over nearly 5 centuries, an era marked by profound changes in governance, culture, and diplomacy. Within these walls, the sweeping tides of history flowed, eras shifted, political philosophies evolved, and the language of diplomacy was rewritten. The medieval empire gradually transitioned into a modern, powerful state, with the Forbidden City standing as its symbolic and functional core. It was more than just a palace. It was a fortress, a sacred space where access was strictly forbidden to outsiders, a place so guarded that even attempting to enter without permission could have cost one's life. The very name of the site, Zizinchen, translates as Purple Forbidden City, a name that sounds almost like a secret password. The color purple signifies royalty and sacredness in Chinese tradition, while forbidden underscores the absolute prohibition of entry, an impenetrable barrier that protected the imperial authority and maintained the delicate balance between heaven and earth. For centuries, the Forbidden City remained an inviolable domain, a place where only the emperor and his closest officials could step inside. To breach its gates was to risk everything, possibly even one's life. This strict logic of exclusivity reflects a broader principle embedded throughout the entire world order of that time, the idea that the ruler, considered the son of heaven, inhabited a divine realm on earth, a palace that embodied the earthly residence of celestial authority. The imperial palace was not merely a residence, it was the physical embodiment of the harmony and balance between the divine and the mortal, a place where the very fabric of cosmic order was woven into its walls. Given such significance, it is clear that the cost of constructing and maintaining such a monumental complex must have been enormous. The entire expanse of the Forbidden City stretches across approximately 72 hectares, an area roughly equivalent to several dozen football fields. Inside, nearly 10,000 individual buildings stand, with about 10,000 rooms carefully arranged in a meticulous, harmonious layout. The deliberate choice of this exact number was no coincidence. 10,000 was regarded as a symbol of divine perfection, a number reserved for the highest celestial powers, accessible only to those of divine or imperial status. But the true marvel of the Forbidden City is not limited solely to its sprawling area or the number of its structures. The real wonder lies in the intricate calculations and artistic principles that underpin its design. Let us attempt a rough estimation of its value. The land on which it sits is located in central Beijing, where real estate prices are among the highest in the world, selling for around $27,000 per square meter. When all these factors are combined, the total worth of the land alone reaches roughly $19.6 billion. The buildings and their decorations, however, are where the true riches lie. The ornamentation, collections of art, and architectural details are valued at more than $50 billion. And as you walk through the halls of this immense complex, your senses are enveloped in a world of artistry and craftsmanship. Every beam, every carved ornament, every piece of fabric is a masterpiece. Crafted with such precision and care, the golden tiles adorning the roofs of ancient buildings are far more than just an aesthetic choice meant to catch the eye. They serve as a powerful symbol of imperial authority and grandeur, a visual statement that immediately communicates the status and prestige of those who reside within. In historical times, the color yellow was reserved exclusively for the highest-ranking figures in the state hierarchy, a color that denoted supremacy, divine right, and unmatched power. When the sun shines upon these rooftops on a clear, bright day, the light does not merely bounce off the shiny surface. Instead, it seems to emanate from within, casting a luminous glow that appears almost alive. This effect is no accident, but a carefully crafted impression, designed to make it unmistakably clear who is in command and who holds the ultimate authority in this grand setting. Inside, the city reveals itself as a carefully orchestrated stage, divided into two distinct zones that together form a seamless performance of authority and private life. The outer courtyard functions as the realm of ceremonial grandeur, where rituals, formalities, and the display of regal regalia take center stage. It is a space filled with the splendor of tradition, where every detail, from the meticulously laid-out carpets that ripple like ocean waves beneath visitors' footsteps to the fragrant incense that fills the air, serves to reinforce the majesty of the occasion. The music, often lively and intoxicating, can cause even the most composed onlookers to feel as if their heads are spinning with awe and admiration. Dominating this scene is a throne, crafted from lacquer and gold and shaped like a dragon, seemingly emerging organically from the red lacquered surface, symbolizing imperial strength and divine authority. In stark contrast stands the inner sanctum, the core of the palace's private domain. This is where the emperor's personal life unfolded, the residence of empresses, concubines, heirs, and those entrusted with the destiny of the dynasty. Here, the atmosphere is markedly different. It is a space where whispers could carry more weight than gold, where a single word might alter the course of history. The halls are decorated with scrolls, lacquered panels, and intricate carvings, each piece echoing centuries of tradition and power. Even in silence, these chambers seem to resonate with a carefully rehearsed harmony, an unspoken language of control and authority. Today, what was once a symbol of absolute monarchy has transformed into a museum visited by millions yearly. Between 14 and 19 million people from across the globe come to marvel at its splendor. Despite the throngs of tourists and the buzz of modern curiosity, the essence of the place persists. A sense that the past and present are intertwined here, inseparably linked in a timeless aura of secret grandeur. This enduring atmosphere cannot be fully captured by souvenirs or the narration of audio guides. It is a living, breathing monument to an era when power was embodied in every corner of these magnificent halls. Now, shifting from the ancient symbolism of imperial China, we find ourselves in France, exploring the legendary Palace of Versailles. If the Forbidden City impresses visitors with its antiquity and cultural significance, Versailles hits with a force that can almost be described as a shock, blinding, overwhelming, and utterly breathtaking. The sheer scale and opulence of Versailles are difficult to comprehend, especially when considering the staggering cost of its construction, which, in today's money, would amount to approximately $50 billion. This makes Versailles one of the most expensive projects ever undertaken in history, a testament to the ambition and wealth of its creator. But beyond its breathtaking beauty, Versailles was designed as much as a political instrument as a palace. It embodied the absolute power of Louis the Sun King, transforming luxury into a tool of control and influence that extended far beyond mere aesthetics. The origins of Versailles are modest. Initially, it was a hunting lodge belonging to Louis XIII, a simple and unassuming structure that could be compared to a pair of warm boots on a rainy day. Functional and unpretentious. However, the young Louis XIV saw potential where others saw simplicity. Starting in the year 1661, he embarked on an extensive reconstruction project, transforming the humble lodge into a magnificent palace that would serve as the seat of absolute monarchy. His move was brilliantly straightforward. In 1668, he transferred his court from Paris to Versailles. This decision was more than practical. It was a masterstroke in political strategy. By relocating the center of power to Versailles, the king effectively brought his court, and thereby his control, under his watchful eye. The courtiers, advisors, and noblemen now had to spend their days within the palace's walls, vying for the king's favor and competing for the smallest privileges, such as the right to present a candlestick or to be near the throne. This elaborate system of control was underpinned by a combination of refined diplomacy and ironclad logic. The palace's vast dimensions, covering approximately 63,154 square meters and comprising over 2,300 rooms, imagine stepping back into the 15th century, a time when a mirror was not merely a reflective surface, but a rare and extraordinarily expensive luxury, accessible only to the wealthiest and most powerful. During this period, the Venetian Republic held a near monopoly on the production of high-quality glass and mirrors, making these objects symbols of wealth and prestige. Large, gleaming mirror plates resembled mighty ships, massive, formidable, and commanding in their presence. Imagine Louis, the king, carefully selecting these grand mirrors and lining them up along the corridors and halls of his residence, creating an entire corridor of shimmering glass that stretched like a fleet of warships. To the outside observer, this display sparkled with brilliance and grandeur, but beneath this dazzling exterior lay a strategic diplomatic tool. Every foreign ambassador, upon visiting such opulent surroundings, understood instantly that France could afford such luxuries that others could only dream of acquiring. This was not just a display of wealth, but a subtle yet powerful message of France's dominance and independence in technological and artistic mastery. Let us delve deeper into the details that could make even the most seasoned travelers or diplomats pause in awe. One of the most striking symbols of Versailles' grandeur is the Royal Opera, an extraordinary feature that served as a symbol of the palace's sophistication and engineering prowess. It was far more than a simple hall adorned with gilding and luxurious decorations. It was a marvel of engineering ingenuity from the late 15th through the early 16th century. The theater was equipped with a revolutionary movable floor installed in 1770, specially designed for the wedding of the future Louis XVIII and Marie Antoinette. This innovation enabled the entire stage to be transformed in a matter of hours, turning the opera house into a splendid ballroom suitable for royal festivities. Picture the scene: the stage and the audience area on the same level, creating a unified space that could be swiftly adapted for different functions. Candles flickered under the ceiling, mimicking the twinkle of stars, illuminating the space with a warm glow. Meanwhile, the orchestra, which had recently performed a grand Romo concerto, would give way to a minuet involving 500 couples dancing in perfect harmony. Considering this was an era without electricity, such a transformation seemed nothing short of magical, a feat that combined artistry, engineering, and ingenuity. In the front apartments of Versailles, one could find a meticulous record of the day's events, scheduled down to the very minute, an entire chronicle of court life and ritual. For the monarch, all daily routines were not mere chores, but ceremonial acts, imbued with symbolic significance. The morning awakening was not simply a matter of rising from bed. It was a grand ritual, a carefully orchestrated beginning to the day's court proceedings. The first light, or the lever, marked the start of a new chapter, while each step of the day's schedule was a display of power and control. Courtiers, chamberlains, confidants, and nobles of various ranks all had their designated roles, with specific rights to approach, serve, and bow before the king or queen. When evening fell and the canopy was lowered, the entire court seemed to transform. Even the coachman behind closed doors appeared to vanish into the background, emphasizing the sanctity and exclusivity of court life. Louis's private chambers were not merely bedrooms for rest. They were stages of legitimacy, where each gesture, each detail, reinforced the monarch's divine right to rule. The closer one stood to the throne, the higher their status, an intricate hierarchy expressed through space, ceremony, and protocol. This elaborate system of courtly display and ritual might seem somewhat amusing to modern eyes, yet its effectiveness was undeniable. We previously mentioned the mirror gallery as a kind of diplomatic laser pointer, a tool of subtle influence and prestige. Yet there is another critical element that speaks volumes about France's technological independence during this era: the presence of over 357 mirrors, which by the 15th century standards showcased the country's mastery of craftsmanship and innovation. France, recognizing the importance of self-reliance, actively attracted artisans from other regions, creating a thriving industry of mirror-making within its borders. This strategic move gradually eroded Venice's dominance in glass production, leading to the decline of Venice's once unrivaled monopoly. The golden reflections bouncing off the surfaces of Versailles' mirrors did not merely mirror the faces of courtiers and visitors. They also reflected France's ambitions, its technological prowess, and its desire for independence. These shiny surfaces became symbols of national strength and ingenuity, a testament to the country's capacity to produce luxury objects that rivaled and eventually surpassed those of Italy. Beyond the palace itself, the landscape architecture of Versailles was equally breathtaking, an overwhelming display of grandeur that could be described as landscape architecture on steroids. André Lenotre envisioned Versailles as a sprawling complex of open-air halls, a series of interconnected outdoor spaces that functioned as a continuous celebration of nature and artifice. The vast terraces, winding Allées Museum, a monument, a mirror reflecting the very spirit of the era into which we all occasionally peer. These words aptly describe the profound significance of this place. It is not merely a building or a relic of the past. It embodies the collective memory, cultural identity, and historical essence of a nation. Today, this cherished site attracts approximately 15 million visitors annually, each eager to glimpse the stories etched into its walls, corridors, and grounds. Stepping into the mirror gallery early in the morning, when the first gentle rays of sunlight filter through the glass panes and cast delicate shadows across the polished parquet floor, one can almost hear the whispers of history rustling softly, like a delicate fabric brushing past the ears of an attentive listener. The atmosphere is so charged with the echoes of bygone days that it feels as though history itself is alive, moving in quiet reverence. As the day progresses and the light shifts, so too does the atmosphere, transforming from the reflective glow of dawn to a vibrant energy that echoes the diverse cultural tapestries of different nations. From the opulence and golden splendor once associated with France to the understated elegance that characterizes traditional Japanese aesthetics, the space adapts seamlessly. This palace, which has withstood the ravages of fire and the relentless march of time, has emerged resilient and dignified, embodying both silence and strength. It is the Tokyo Imperial Palace, an iconic symbol nestled in the heart of Tokyo, Japan. This palace is not merely a grand residence, it is a sanctuary where silence itself becomes a tangible material, woven into the very fabric of its architecture. Unlike other grand structures in the capital, the Tokyo Imperial Palace stands out with its modest exterior, which conceals a deeply modern core within. The external appearance may evoke humility, but inside, it reveals a harmonious blend of contemporary innovation and traditional craftsmanship. The immense value of this site is difficult to overstate. Its land alone is estimated to be worth approximately $11.25 billion US. In Tokyo, every square meter functions akin to a blue-chip stock, reflecting the significance of real estate, while the Palace Park operates as a sprawling, open-air stock exchange of cultural and historical importance. Historically, the site was once the heart of Edo Castle, serving as the central fortress and administrative hub of the Tokugawa shogunate, which wielded power for more than 2 centuries, an era marked by stability and strict governance. This formidable fortress stood as a symbol of authority and control until the pivotal moment in 1868 when the Meiji Restoration unfolded, signaling the end of feudal rule and the relocation of the imperial capital from Kyoto to Tokyo. With this shift, the fortress was transformed into an imperial residence, marking a new chapter in Japan's history. However, this period of relative peace and grandeur was shattered on the 25th of May in 1945, when the night sky above Tokyo was illuminated by the destructive firebombing carried out by B-29 aircraft. The devastation was profound. Fires raged unchecked, craters marred the landscape, and entire halls, palaces, and vast city blocks were reduced to ash and charred stones. The city's architectural beauty and historic fabric seemed on the verge of being lost forever. Yet, the question that naturally arises, what now, was answered resolutely by the Japanese spirit. Japan, resilient as ever, responded with determination, vowing to rebuild anew. By 1968, the reconstruction was complete, and the complex emerged as a bridge linking the past with the future. Architect Junzo Yoshimura played a crucial role in this revival, masterfully integrating modernist principles with traditional Japanese architectural elements. His design created a mosaic that reflected the country's dual heritage. The structure prominently features steel and reinforced concrete, emphasizing strict structural logic, open spans, and a sense of clarity in form. Yet, it also incorporates traditional features: gabled, hipped roofs, expressive cornices, and carefully crafted columns and beams that evoke the aesthetic language of ancient temples and shrines. The finishing touches include the use of domestic wooden species and stone from Japanese quarries, meticulously chosen to complement the interplay of light and shadow. This careful manipulation of light ensures that at midday, the space is not loud or overwhelming. Instead, it breathes, offering a quiet, contemplative atmosphere that invites reflection. Within this harmonious space, silence reigns supreme, yet whispers of history are ever present. The interior layout is a carefully curated balance, where modern and traditional elements coexist in perfect harmony. The state and banquet halls, known as Sidon and Homedan, exemplify this equilibrium. Here, modernity is expressed through Western-style parquet floors, comfortable armchairs, and soft fabrics, creating an environment suitable for official ceremonies and diplomatic gatherings. Conversely, traditional touches, tatami mats, caisson ceilings, and deliberately calibrated the pauses between forms and sounds, introduce a meditative quality, fostering a sense of calm and introspection. Private areas are discreet and almost contemplative, designed certainly. Here is a deeply reworked and expanded version of your original text, translated into English, with a smooth, literary style that emphasizes clarity, flow, and richness, while preserving all factual details and nuances. Indeed, having a stretch of approximately 1.15 kilometers of lush, vibrant greenery nestled within the very heart of a sprawling metropolis is not merely a convenient park or a recreational area. It is, rather, a powerful statement, a testament to the belief that even amidst the relentless hustle and dense urban fabric, there must be a fragment set aside for silence, for reflection, and for a moment of tranquility. Such an oasis in a sea of concrete and glass signifies more than just a patch of nature. It embodies the idea that in the midst of modernity's chaos, the human spirit still demands a space to breathe, to pause, and to reconnect with the natural world. Another example of contemporary architectural expression that resonates with this philosophy is the Fuka residence, built in the year 1993, designed by the renowned architect Shozo Uchi. Unlike grandiose showcases or ostentatious displays of wealth, this residence embodies a different kind of respect, one that honors materials, the interplay of light, and the beauty of emptiness. It is not a parade of unnecessary ornamentation, but a carefully curated composition where every element serves a purpose. The resulting design manifests as a complex yet harmonious formula, one that is accessible to the eye but profound in its simplicity. Here, history is not preserved behind glass as a static relic, but rather integrated seamlessly into everyday life, woven into the fabric of daily routines without fanfare or slogans. It is an approach that acknowledges the past not as a spectacle, but as an intrinsic part of the present, inevitable and unpretentious. This perspective also brings to mind the myth that still whispers about the extraordinary economic bubble of the 1980s. During that period, the value of a single piece of prime land in Tokyo was said to be comparable, on paper, to the entire real estate market of the state of California. Such comparisons sound almost like a joke or a diagnosis of an era gone mad, a hyperbole that hints at the speculative frenzy and the inflated values that characterize that time. Today, this serves as a stark reminder that sometimes the true worth of a place or a moment cannot be measured in monetary terms alone. More often than not, the intangible value of silence, serenity, and quiet dignity can surpass the loudest fame or the most extravagant displays of wealth. Turning our gaze to London, the majestic Buckingham Palace stands as an enduring symbol of the British monarchy, an institution that, despite all its grandeur, defies simplistic valuation. It is an unusual residence, serving multiple roles simultaneously: a private home, an official office, and a potent emblem that can evoke awe and pride in equal measure among the British people. Estimates of its market value fluctuate significantly, ranging from approximately $1.6 billion to as much as $5 billion. Yet any Londoner will tell you that the true worth of such a palace is not confined to figures or dollar signs. The real measure of its significance lies in the fleeting yet profound moments spent on the balcony. These are the instances that etch themselves into collective memory: the shared glances, the waving hands, the silent exchange of tradition and continuity. The history of Buckingham Palace begins humbly, with no fanfare or grand introductions. In the year of 2703, the architect William Tallman crafted a townhouse for the Duke of Buckingham. Its design was straightforward yet elegant, embodying status and solidity through neat symmetry and restrained ornamentation, avoiding excess gold or ostentatious embellishments. Over the years, the building's purpose evolved. In the year of 1761, King George II acquired the residence for his wife, Queen Charlotte. It then transitioned from a mere noble dwelling into a royal sanctuary, a family home filled with the scent of beeswax, freshly baked bread, and the innocent mischief of children. At this stage, the palace's focus remained inward, oriented towards the private life of the royal family rather than the bustling crowds outside. The turning point came with the arrival of George IV, a monarch known for his penchant for spectacle and theatrical extravagance. He summoned the talents of John Nash, an architect capable of transforming ordinary walls into theatrical sets worthy of the stage. Nash's task was ambitious: to elevate a respectable townhouse into a palace befitting an empire. His work, however, soon spiraled into extravagance, with estimates swelling like a sponge cake soaked in syrup. Ultimately, Nash left the project, but the momentum had been set in motion. By the year of 1837, Queen Victoria moved into the residence, and Buckingham Palace finally became the enduring symbol of the monarchy's grandeur and continuity. The palace itself boasts an impressive total of 775 rooms, of which 19 are designated as staterooms. Yet, beyond mere numbers, the true magic resides in $6 billion. That is an astronomical sum by any measure. To be precise, this amount does not belong to any single individual. Instead, it represents a shared estate, a collective property of the nation. Such figures speak volumes about how deeply Britain's monarchy is intertwined with notions of national identity and historical continuity. The grand eastern facade, crowned by its iconic balcony, is more than just an architectural feature. It is a symbol through which different eras are recognized and remembered. From Queen Victoria's reign to the time of Edward VII, from Elizabeth II's long-standing era to the current reign of Charles II, each monarch has once stood on that very balcony, waving to their subjects below. This balcony, in many ways, functions as a living pulse of the nation itself. It has witnessed moments of jubilation, weddings, national celebrations, anniversaries, as well as times of collective mourning and grief. When the royal family appears there, it's as if the entire country's gaze converges on a single, unifying point. The act of coming out onto that balcony, whether to celebrate or to mourn, seems to momentarily ease the weight of history and tradition that the nation carries. The palace, too, is filled with its own customs and routines. Every August, when the royal life briefly shifts from London to the Scottish Highlands, a part of the palace's staterooms opens to the public. This annual event transforms a place usually reserved for ceremonial duties and private moments into a space accessible to ordinary visitors. People in comfortable shoes, eager to glimpse the royal world, line up to see where members of the royal family, dressed in formal attire, typically appear. And in a curious way, there is a certain sweetness and equality in this shared experience, at least for a fleeting hour, where common folk and aristocrats alike stand side by side, gazing at the historic surroundings. Now, you might wonder where the humor fits into all of this. Well, it lurks precisely in the intricate details of protocol and tradition. Sometimes, it seems as if everything here is designed with a single purpose: to test who can maintain their composure better than the ornate chairs they sit on. Yet, amid this apparent rigidity, there are moments that reveal a different side of the royal spectacle. When a chamber music ensemble begins to play their first notes in a stark white drawing room, you suddenly realize that all these elaborate rituals and customs are not just pomp. They have worked, in a way. A subtle mixture of history, elegance, and a touch of nervous laughter fills the air, creating a strange but charming atmosphere. It becomes clear that, yes, we are truly here in this historical setting, but at the same time, it is the 21st century. It is a place where tradition and modernity coexist, sometimes almost playfully clashing. From the grand balcony of the palace, let us shift our perspective to a different kind of residence, one that symbolizes contemporary ambition and technological marvel, a skyscraper palace. Imagine a city where winter's chill can be turned off with a single button, and elevators whisper faster than the rain begins to fall on London streets. Our next destination is Mumbai, India, to visit the legendary residence known as Antilia. Unlike the old royal palaces, which demonstrated their power through sprawling gardens, long corridors, and expansive squares, Antilia asserts influence vertically, rising high above the city's skyline. This 27-story mansion, owned by Mukesh Ambani, is valued at roughly $46 billion. But beyond its impressive price tag, there is a deeper message embedded in its architecture. Antilia is not merely a luxurious home, but a bold declaration of an era where personal wealth can be transformed into a private city within a city. The architects drew inspiration from two potent symbols, the lotus flower and the sun. The lotus, a spiritual emblem of purity and enlightenment, stands in stark contrast to the vanity and material excess surrounding it. Meanwhile, the sun symbolizes energy, vitality, and unceasing ambition, an upward drive that fuels the project's very essence. The building's silhouette resembles a series of stepped petals, shifting and overlapping in a dynamic, almost organic manner. This gives the facade its characteristic plasticity, as if the structure itself is alive and breathing. The design process was meticulous, with the construction spanning from 2006 to 2010. Inside, the interiors were crafted by Hirsch Bedner Associates, renowned for their mastery in hotel luxury design. Their work is famous for making marble and precious materials sing, rather than merely pressing them into place. The residence contains rare woods, mother-of-pearl inlays, crystals, and intricate mosaics, all of which seem to transform a single ray of sunlight into a delicate, violin-like note of beauty. Despite the grandeur and extravagance, there is an unexpected sense of homeliness. The interior spaces are filled with textiles and light surfaces, creating an atmosphere that balances opulence with comfort. Lighting scenarios are carefully designed so that each zone within the nestled deep beneath the bustling city streets, there exists an enormous underground complex that houses a garage capable of accommodating no fewer than 168 vehicles. This subterranean parking facility spans an impressive 6 levels beneath the surface, resembling a logistical marvel comparable in complexity and scale to the operations of a small airport. Its design and organization reflect meticulous planning, allowing for seamless movement of vehicles and ensuring the safety and convenience of its users, akin to the sophisticated handling of aircraft on a busy airfield. Adjacent to this marvel of automotive storage is a state-of-the-art cinema hall that can comfortably seat 50 viewers. The quality of its audiovisual experience rivals that of the most prestigious cinema establishments around the world. The clarity of the picture and the richness of the sound system are of such high standard that they could easily satisfy even the most discerning cinephiles. Yet, despite its luxurious features, the atmosphere remains perfectly tranquil. Here, no one whispers secrets to their neighbors, nor do they rustle through bags or snack wrappers, preserving an ambiance of refined silence and respectful enjoyment. Moving upward within this extraordinary structure, one encounters a grand ballroom that redefines the very concept of a wedding venue. It is a space that could host celebrations of such grandeur that they would become the talk of at least half of India, captivating the imagination of countless onlookers. Its design features a ceiling reminiscent of the sky as seen through the iconic domes of the sky, with a surface that appears to stretch infinitely overhead. The lighting within this hall is masterfully crafted, casting gentle, flowing glows that seem to glide over the skin of those present, evoking feelings akin to laughter, joyous, effortless, and luminous. Perhaps the most legendary element of this residence, which has become the subject of countless online stories and viral discussions, is the snow room. In a city where summer temperatures often soar beyond 35 degrees Celsius, the idea of creating a personal winter environment is not merely a luxury, but a feat of engineering brilliance. This room employs advanced systems of drying, filtration, and glycol circulation, along with acoustics designed so precisely that visitors do not hear the hum of machinery, but instead are immersed in the delicate, almost whispering crunch of snowflakes underfoot. It sounds like something straight out of a science fiction novel. Yet, it exists here, in this extraordinary residence, and it is precisely why Antilia has captured the world's imagination. Beyond the snow room, the residence offers several floors dedicated to wellness and health. These levels feature a luxurious swimming pool where residents can unwind and refresh, a fully equipped gym for maintaining fitness, a spa offering relaxation and therapeutic treatments, and serene yoga rooms where the air is infused with the soothing scent of eucalyptus. Situated on the 20th floor, there is an area where one's own breath becomes startlingly perceptible, almost as if the very air around you has become clearer and purer. Within this elevated sanctuary, a dedicated home temple stands as a spiritual refuge, with a lamp's flame burning brightly against the backdrop of glass and concrete, serving as a constant reminder of tradition and faith amidst modernity. The residence's design thoughtfully integrates elements of tradition into its modern architecture. Even the elevators and server rooms are imbued with cultural significance, featuring subtle touches that echo age-old customs. The tower is framed by terraced gardens, verdant ledges that cascade down its sides, serving both practical and aesthetic purposes. These lush green spaces help mitigate the heat absorbed by the building's facade, providing a cooling effect and offering a visual escape from the endless, relentless traffic of the surrounding city. The gardens serve as a peaceful retreat, a natural balm for the eyes amidst urban chaos. Connecting all these levels are 9 high-speed elevators that move swiftly along a vertical route, allowing residents and guests to traverse the building with minimal delay, so rapid that one barely has time to finish a passing thought before arriving at their desired floor. The pinnacle of this architectural marvel is crowned by 3 designated helipads, which provide rapid access to the city's air routes, a practical necessity in Mumbai, a city infamous for its traffic congestion. In such a metropolis, where every minute counts and time is arguably the most precious resource, having these helipads is a strategic advantage. The uppermost 6 floors are reserved for the private apartments of the family, designed with an exceptional level of security and safety. The building employs a robust safety system capable of withstanding forces of up to 8 points of safety margin, and its security measures are comparable to those used in government facilities, ensuring complete protection for its inhabitants. An intriguing aspect of this design is that no 2 floors are identical. Each one features a unique arrangement of materials, lighting schemes, and spatial layouts. This approach prevents the formation of repetitive, monotonous spaces and invites residents to continually rediscover their home anew, fostering a sense of freshness and exclusivity with every visit. Antilia has not escaped controversy, and its history is as intricate as its architecture. The story of the site dates back to the year 2002, when a nation is blessed with abundant oil reserves, rich gas fields, and a deeply rooted sense of tradition that has been passed down through generations, its approach to architecture takes on an almost ceremonial character. transforming into a grand national ritual. The process of constructing monumental buildings in such a country is often marked by a scale that can be almost deafening when expressed in numbers alone. For instance, the total expenditure on one of the most ambitious projects back in 1984 was approximately $1.5 billion, a staggering sum at that time. Fast forward to today, and the current estimates for similar endeavors are nearing $34 billion, illustrating how the scale of such projects has expanded exponentially with time. The grandeur of this palace is not merely recognized by its size, it is officially recorded in the Guinness Book of Records as the largest residential palace on the entire planet. However, its true magnitude cannot be fully grasped solely through the sheer number of meters it covers. Instead, one must consider the dimensions in a broader, more contextual sense, as the significance of such a structure lies not only in its physical footprint, but also in what it symbolizes and how it integrates into the cultural and political fabric of the nation. The historical context is crucial here. It was the year 1984, a period when the young nation of Brunei was completing its journey towards full independence. At that time, the global oil market was experiencing high prices, which provided the treasury with a unique opportunity. Instead of merely issuing press statements or diplomatic notes, the country chose to make a statement through the visual language of architecture, through the silhouettes of a majestic palace that would rise on the horizon and serve as a symbol of its sovereignty and strength. The task of bringing this vision to life was entrusted to a talented Filipino architect named Leandro Velocin. His skill lay in masterfully blending modern architectural principles with local traditions, ensuring that the concrete structure did not clash with the ornamental elements characteristic of Islamic art and architecture. The forms and lines of the palace were carefully designed to speak the language of Islamic aesthetics, creating a harmonious dialogue between the new and the traditional. The scope of this undertaking was truly enormous. The goal was to craft a space where religious symbolism, monarchical protocol, and cutting-edge engineering could coexist seamlessly, functioning as a unified and cohesive system. From the outside, the palace immediately commands attention with its striking visual features. Gilded domes shimmer in the sunlight, cascading arches flow gracefully across the facade, and intricate arabesques decorate the surfaces without overwhelming the viewer, instead guiding the eye along a fluid, elegant path. The smooth, polished surfaces of the walls reflect the tropical sunlight, causing the entire structure to seem as if it is glowing from within, a visual effect that is not merely optical, but a carefully engineered aspect of the design. And this luminous quality becomes even more pronounced after dark, when the palace is illuminated by a sophisticated lighting system. The nighttime lighting transforms the complex into a river of light, a spectacle that required meticulous logistical planning, involving the installation of approximately 564 chandeliers and over 51,000 individual lamps. During religious holidays or state celebrations, the palace does not simply shine, it pulses with life. The entire Bandar Begawan area becomes a sprawling postcard of light and color, a mesmerizing display that captures the imagination of all who behold it. Stepping inside the palace, one is met with an expansive world of spaces that stretch across approximately 200,000 square meters, encompassing about 178 rooms. Yet, these figures only scratch the surface of what the interior truly represents. In reality, the palace can be likened to an archipelago of interconnected spaces, an intricate network of halls, chambers, and functional zones. There are ceremonial suites designed for audiences and receptions, service areas that support the daily operations, private quarters for the royal family, and a religious complex that underscores the spiritual dimension of the entire structure. All these components are part of a vast infrastructure that ensures the smooth execution of protocol and state functions. Every element is subordinated to the flow and movement within the palace, how the head of state walks, how processions unfold, where guests are positioned, and where moments of private reflection or grand public displays take place. The design considers every detail, from the placement of a chamber, pause for a moment of silence, to the arrangement of a large-scale gathering involving thousands of participants. The banquet hall exemplifies this meticulous planning. It is a space capable of transforming from an intimate, private setting into a grand venue capable of hosting up to 5,000 guests. This requires not only flexible interior design, but also advanced acoustics and climate control systems, ensuring comfort and functionality regardless of the occasion. This level of orchestration demonstrates a form of diplomacy that operates on an industrial scale, where every seat, sound, and temperature is carefully calibrated to serve the purpose of statecraft and ceremonial grandeur. At the heart of this architectural marvel lies a mosque capable of accommodating 1,500 worshippers. It is not merely a prayer house associated with the court, it is a fully functioning religious temple. The next aspect that captures the imagination and truly excites the minds of those who appreciate engineering marvels is the extensive infrastructure that supports the entire estate. This infrastructure is so sophisticated and meticulously designed that it seems to ignite a spark of admiration in even the most seasoned engineers and technical experts. For instance, there is a state-of-the-art cooling system tailored to the tropical climate, ensuring that the entire residence remains comfortable regardless of the sweltering heat outside. This is complemented by a reliable power backup system, providing uninterrupted electricity supply and safeguarding all the luxurious amenities from any unexpected outages. Additionally, there are protective measures against heavy rainfalls and violent storms, which are carefully integrated to prevent any damage or disruption to daily life. Behind the scenes, unseen by most visitors, lie a multitude of complex logistics and security arrangements, all working seamlessly to maintain the safety and comfort of the inhabitants. These include discreet security patrols, advanced surveillance systems, and carefully planned access controls, all operating silently and efficiently without drawing attention. Beyond security, the estate boasts fully equipped kitchens, functioning kitchens that cater to the culinary needs of the residents and their guests, along with laundry facilities that handle large volumes of clothing and linens with ease. There are also workshops where maintenance and repairs are carried out, ensuring that everything remains in pristine condition at all times. The residence is essentially a self-sufficient city, capable of functioning independently and flawlessly, which is crucial for hosting high-level protocol events at the national or international stage. Without such an intricate network of services, maintaining the smooth operation of such a grand residence would be impossible. Furthermore, there exists a component of the estate that is difficult to overlook: an impressive climate-controlled stable designed to house around 200 ponies. This might sound like the outline of a plot for a gossip column or a tabloid story, but in reality, it is an essential part of the estate's cultural fabric. Polo, which is a favorite pastime of the Sultan, is more than just a sport. It is a symbol of tradition and prestige, and the horses are treated with the utmost care, living in conditions befitting true champions. The stables are equipped with the latest climate control systems to ensure the well-being of these majestic animals, reflecting the importance placed on equestrian pursuits. In addition to the stables and sports facilities, the estate features a garage capable of holding around 110 cars. The collection of automobiles housed here has long since gained legendary status among enthusiasts and connoisseurs. It includes rare and unique models, among them Ferrari and Bentley, with some vehicles existing as one-of-a-kind masterpieces. These automobiles are not merely possessions, but symbols of an entire era, reflecting a lifestyle of unmatched luxury and exclusivity. If a palace symbolizes an epoch, then the everyday habits and choices of its inhabitants also serve as a mirror revealing the essence of that era's culture. One could argue endlessly about where the boundary lies between genuine luxury and outright excess. This debate is a common theme in discussions about any monarchy or elite society, as perceptions of wealth and sophistication often vary from person to person. However, within the context of the palace's inner circle and the Numerology camp, the distinction is clear and unequivocal. This is a modern-day thesis palace, where traditions are not merely preserved behind glass displays or in dusty archives, but are actively embodied in daily rituals, carefully mapped routes, scheduled routines, and the subtle glow of lamps illuminating the corridors. The discipline of the staff, quiet and unassuming, yet impeccable, ensures that the entire operation runs smoothly, seamlessly blending the old with the new. Thank you very much for staying with us until the very end of this detailed journey into the world of opulence and grandeur. If you find yourself intrigued by the luxurious lifestyles of the world's most famous and incredibly wealthy individuals, and if you have a fascination with everything that is costly, exclusive, and lavish, then this channel is exactly what you need. Here, you will discover a wealth of interesting content, exploring the realms of wealth, history, and grandeur. Stay tuned for more insights into the lifestyles of the elite, where each detail is a reflection of a world where luxury and tradition intertwine in perfect harmony.